today we are in for Mindfulness Workshop. So I'm so grateful for this gathering. Again, welcome again. So good to have you. And as we think about mindfulness has become such a buzzword these days. There are so many different magazines on mindfulness. There's mindfulness psychology, and mindfulness practices are used very widely in health, both our physical health and mental health. And most importantly for our program today, mindfulness has been a very integral part in many spiritual traditions, including Christianity and other traditions too. So today, we'll kind of gather just for about an hour, and half of what we're going to do is really understand what mindfulness is, the meaning of it, and how we can utilize better in our daily life. And just about, I hope that the half of our program will be doing a few mindfulness exercises and meditation. So in collaboration of our church's marketing team, last year I wrote a very short guideline for 7 days of mindfulness. And some of you might have seen that. I hope some of you have read it too, but I'll walk you through the resource as well. So a bit of my background in mindfulness practice is that, as some of you know, that South Korea, which is my home country, is a very multi-religious society. So the Buddhism is the largest one. Christianity is about 25%, and there's a widely practiced Confucianism, more as ethics, not as religion, and also Taoism. And Taoism is more like life's philosophy, again, not necessarily religion, but it's like all mixed together. So I grew up in that multi-religious, pluralistic society. And in my approach to mindfulness, I consider all of these traditions, which are very important part of my identity and my faith. So as we begin, I'd like you to do one thing. Please put away your phone, unless you are watching this on your phone, of course, or anything else that might be distractive for just about an hour. And you will get the most benefit from this program if you can fully engage in this workshop. So if you have any things on your desk or just near you, you can just push it aside just for a little while so that you won't be tempted to multitask. I mean, I know there are times that we need to multitask, and I certainly do that and understand it. But remember, it's a very short period of time today, and your attention will be very beneficial for you. So, okay, great. So let us begin by taking a few deep breaths. So I invite you to sit comfortably, or you might be standing, but whatever posture you have, make sure you're relaxed and very comfortable. And you may want to close your eyes. And as we breathe, I invite you to put one hand in your belly and one hand in your chest. So one in your belly, one in your chest, because as we breathe in, you will feel the belly rise. I want you to really feel it. And as we breathe out, you can feel your belly lower, and your hand on your belly should move up and down, but it shouldn't be more than your chest. So like, it's putting hands will be more mindful that your chest does not move too much, but it is your belly that really moves. So on a count of 3, breathe in your nose and let the air go directly into your lungs and into your belly, and then breathe out the same way. So use your nose as much as possible instead of your mouth. So let's just breathe in 1, 2, 3. Breathe out. 1, 2, 3. And again, breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in through your nose. Breathe out through your nose. It's just amazing how simple breathing can bring peace and clarity to our mind almost instantly, right? And another popular way to practice breathing is to, as we breathe in, we also take in positive energy. And as we breathe out, let out any negative energy. And now what's positive and what's negative can be very subjective. We may think all differently. So each of us may need to customize what we want to breathe in, what we want to breathe out. But let's just first engage in this exercise. And I will give you some prompts of positive energy and negative energy. And then I encourage you to choose your own positivity in life to breathe in, and your own negativity that you want to breathe out. So again, sit comfortably, relax again, close your eyes. Remember to breathe in through your nose. Still put one hand in your belly and one other hand on your chest. And breathe in peace. Breathe out worries. Breathe in calmness. And breathe out tension. Breathe in harmony. Breathe out anxiety. Breathe in love. Breathe out sorrow. Breathe in light. And breathe out stress. Breathe in the energy of the universe. Breathe out your self-centeredness. Now breathe in what's positive for you, perhaps your loved one's smile. And breathe out what's negative, perhaps words that have hurt you recently. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. And one more time, breathe in and breathe out. Now open your eyes. I hope you're more relaxed now. And in today's program, if you're so inspired, you can put in your words or response or questions in the chat box, but you don't have to do that. So I'm going to share screen now to go into more of that, what mindfulness is. Okay, so mindfulness goes back to Asian roots. So the word here is the Chinese character that we pronounce often as Zen. So that's the Japanese way of pronouncing mindfulness. Chinese way is Chen. Korean way is Sun. So it's the same word, but Koreans, Chinese, and Japanese all pronounce the same word differently. So we recognize that Asian roots of mindfulness. And actually, when I was growing up in Korea, we often use this word sun or Zen, whether you're religious or not, it didn't matter, that just practice your Zen as a way of bringing calmness and peace in our lives. And it was a reminder. And it's kind of like I brought this quote from the Tao of Pooh, Winnie the Pooh, so the Tao of Pooh. It says, while Eeyore frets and Piglet hesitates and Rabbit calculates and Owl pontificates, Pooh just is. So a lot of what mindfulness is just to be where we are and how we are and being touched with our own self. To say more clearly, I kind of put out 9 main characteristics of mindfulness. So the first one is here and now. So just like Winnie the Pooh, right? Just to be. It is about paying attention to the present moment. So not the past regrets. What happened, what I heard yesterday, or what happened to me when I was a child, not that. Nor it's about future, so what I need to do, what should be done, or what should have been done, what would have been done, and not too much about the unknown future and fear and anxiety related to that, worry about tomorrow, for instance. So freeing from both past and present, focusing on present moment, here and now, who's in front of me, the person right next to me, the project that I'm doing, the word that I'm uttering right now. So here and now. The next part is openness. It is about embracing all possibilities, thinking that nothing is impossible. All things are possible and open to many different paths to walk. I recently read a phrase that when one road is blocked, 10 roads are opened up. So it's just like this. So when we experience frustration, receive it as it is, but to know that there are other possibilities. And then the next element is non-judgment. So letting go of all labels, what we know, what we have learned, what we have enculturated about what is good and what is bad. So let go of all the judgments that we have or we have inherited. So that relates to openness. And then another aspect of mindfulness is non-dualism. So letting go of what is right and what is wrong, what is righteous and what is sinful, the dualism of good and bad, and living in that ambiguity, not necessarily knowing what's really absolutely good or bad. And again, it relates to openness and non-judgment as well. So non-dualistic thinking is part of mindfulness. And then the next aspect is letting go of all attachments, whether it be our own possessions or more psychological ego, who I am, or pride that I have. And it can also include letting go of anger. Not that anger is always bad. Sometimes we have to be angry. There's righteous anger, but letting go, constantly letting it go. We feel it, but then we let it go. Let go of past, let go of broken dreams, and let go of pains. So letting go. So it's not as a one-time action, but it is as a constant life's attitude, letting go and letting go. The next one is emptiness. It is clearing our mind and heart and life so that we can receive that positive energy of the whole universe as fully as possible. It is a spiritual attitude to be empty. And in Christian practice, Christ is known as the one who emptied himself of his divinity. And it is very strong in Buddhism too. In Buddhism, emptiness as a life's attitude is very important. So that emptiness is related to non-possession in Buddhism. And then the next one is connection. Mindfulness means to be connected. It is to be connected to others, connected to nature, connected to the spirit of the world, connected to God, connected to the holy, connected to the divine, connected to the world. So mindfulness is not about detaching ourselves from the worldly concerns or noise or problems, but it is rather to be connected, to be linked to what's happening in the world. So naturally, because we are connected, it is also about compassion. So it is to be connected to the world with a heart of compassion, feeling the pain of others, feeling the suffering of our creation, and being attentive to what's going on in the world, and to really enter into that global connectedness in our world. So finally, it is to recognize that we are self. We are each individual is a self in community. So it is the understanding of the human life in the context of humanity. We are not isolated people, but we are related to one another. So as you can see, these 9 aspects of mindfulness are really linked to each other. It kind of flows from one to another, and it's all very connected. And we can compare mindfulness with mindlessness, right? And we can, I just put out a few examples: listening, seeing, talking, eating, all through that. We can do all of this mindlessly, right? Sometimes we can hear someone say, but if we listen to maybe our spouse, life's partner, our children, our parents, what they say, listen to them mindlessly, we really don't understand. And mindful listening is really to open our hearts to what others say, the sound of the world. In Korean Buddhism, there's a bodhisattva named Kwan Yin, and Kwan Yin's characteristic is such a mindfulness, listening, mindful listening. And her Kwan Yin literally means listening to the sound of the world, the sound of suffering and pain. So mindful listening. The same is true with seeing. Do we see mindfully what's happening in the world, our loved ones, or mindlessly? Do we talk mindfully, choosing our words with mindfulness in mind, or do we just talk mindlessly, random? And eating, mindful eating will connect us with those who grow the whatever food we eat, vegetables or meat, and the agriculture, the nature, the whole earth of the world, and also relates to our own body. Am I really full as I eat? So mindful eating relates all of that. Mindless eating can be just eating popcorn when you watch movie, and then all of a sudden it's gone. And what happened to my popcorn? Kind of a eating, right? And meditation too, mindful meditation and mindless meditation. And also it relates to our ethics and lifestyle, that mindful giving, whether it is our time or resources, would be really giving in consideration of the benefit of those who receive whatever we give. And mindless giving would be to give so that we can feel better about ourselves, that I did much and I'm a generous person, just to feel that. Sometimes we do that when we give mindlessly. Sometimes it hurts those who receive what we give more than really benefit them. So how do we give mindfully? And finance, of course, how do we spend money mindfully? How do we buy things? Everything that we buy, we possess, the money we save or invest. How do we do mindful investment and mindful financial resources management? That's so mindfulness really encompasses our relationship, our lifestyle, our ethics, and our communal life, all of that. So if our life tends to be more on the side of mindlessness, whether it's listening, giving, talking, it tends to lead to isolation, division, and disconnect from others. And if we focus more on or more intentional about mindful relationship, eating, meditation, finance, talking, all of that, it tends to lead to more connection, communal life, and compassionate life. So mindfulness can lead to the overall health and well-being and happiness, not only for ourselves, but for those around us as well. So that's why I'm a big advocate of mindfulness. And when we talk about mindfulness, we talked about non-dualism. So I wanted to point out one of the characteristics of Tao spirituality, which I feel that we can embrace so much in Christian or any other religious life, is that it really talks about how opposites can be held together. So not antagonistic approaches about opposites, differences, and diversity, but more harmonized approach, so that we can move from division to healing, from separateness to unity, and from enmity to understanding, and from more individualistic understanding of human life, to more communal life of human life. And in the midst of that, to be able to embrace ambiguity. It's neither black nor white, kind of an ambiguity we often face in our lives, to embrace ambiguity as part of mindfulness. And when we talk about communal life here, so more compassion, self-being community, another word for self-being community is the word that we very well known as Ubuntu from Africa. I am because we are, or you are, or the Buddhist term is interbeing. So one of the greatest Buddhist teachers we've had in our time, and he passed away a few years ago, is Thich Nhat Hanh. He talked about interbeing. So everyone, we are inter-are. Nobody is just are, or not just I am, but we are inter-are, because I am in you, you are in me, just like Ubuntu, kind of an understanding. So interconnectedness of all our lives. And from that perspective, we understand that my well-being is your well-being. And it's kind of like in Christian understanding of one body in Christ. So we are all part of one body. And if one hurts in this body, one member hurts, everybody hurts. So going back to this, what mindfulness is, again, it all relates to our communal life, openness, compassion, and connectedness, this circle. So I find mindfulness as a link to connect us with people in different faith traditions, Christianity, Buddhist, and Hindu, and Taoist, and all in many different ways. Mindfulness seems like it's something that can connect us together. So I want to walk you through these 7 days of mindfulness reflection and practice. that the marketing team really sponsored to make. So these are 7 examples of what mindfulness can be and how we can practice in life. The first one is mindful living. So we talked about openness earlier, right? And mindful living is really our attitude to know that each moment is a gift and open our heart to new possibilities and embrace new experiences. Just like not the closed book, but open book, and anything is possible when we read, right? Different interpretations and different understanding. It's like a welcoming new ideas. So one suggestion I hear as a practice is that have a sun salutation yoga practice, and you can read about it in this guideline more about that. And then mindful breathing as an exercise. We think that each breath really indicates life. So without breathing, we can't live, right? So breathing is almost synonymous to life. And we started our exercise with a breathing exercise, breathing in positive energy and then breathe out negative energy. And another way of practicing breathing, which I actually do more often than breathe in positive and breathe out negative energies, is that breathe in something what I need. Breathe in peace, breathe in love, breathe in understanding, and breathe out actions or justice. So breathe in love and breathe out compassion. Breathe in peace and breathe out actions of peace. So when we breathe in, it's more to fill our life and our hearts with strength that we need. And breathe out is more about how we can share this positive energy in the world. So that's another way of thinking about breathing so that we can be part of the transformation. And this Hebrew word, ruach, is, it means spirit. So breathe in the spirit and breathe out the spirit. And the next one is mindful seeing. And do you see the shadow here? Actually, I took this picture, and this picture is from the suspension bridge. Oops. Here we go again. So sometimes shadows are ignored, and shadows are considered to be less than what it is. It's only the reflection. But sometimes I believe that if we cultivate the mindful seeing to see the shadows more and more, I think it can contribute towards more compassionate heart of ourselves and compassionate life in our global community. So seeing the details, what's hidden and shadows, and what's not always shown in the media or spotlight or magazines, in the news. So to cultivate the mindful seeing so that we can truly see the details of life. And perhaps we can see the wrinkles and find beauty there as well. So mindful seeing and mindful compassion. This is the picture I took in the Mexico US border, and just it reflects one of the greatest pains in our world, just much suffering. And when we are mindful of our own pain, we are able to cultivate the compassion towards others in pain. So just cultivate the compassion mindfully so that we can relate to others more and understand the pains of the world more. Henry Nouwen talked about the wounded healer, that the pains that we go through now in ourselves or in our lives are the bridge that will allow us to understand pains of others so that we can be part of healing process. So to me, this border pain that we have in our own country, perhaps it can open our eyes and our lives and our hearts to be more compassionate so that we can understand the pains of those who are the other side of the border or in other parts of the world that are divided and struggling with any political or economic pains. And mindful farewell. Actually, right now, I'm in the process of farewell. So I'll be transitioning into the new ministry setting, and letting go is so hard. It's very difficult. And we experience farewell when we move or when we have to say goodbye to our loved ones, or when we transition into a new job in many different ways. Think about a time when you had to say goodbye, whether it be your loved ones or leaving your own home country, which I did. That was a huge farewell. And it's so scary. Just think about the fear and anxiety and sad and sorrowfulness that you have gone through. And how did you have the courage to let go? And maybe for some of us, it is an ongoing process. Maybe we're still saying goodbye because it takes a long time sometimes. But when we let go, there's new possibilities can emerge. But mindful farewell means that we're not just saying goodbye and saying turn around and saying that that's the end of it. And I'm not going to think about that anymore. Kind of a thinking, but mindful farewell is to understand the difficulty and fear within, as well as the new possibilities that can come into our lives. And then mindful walking. So mindful walking is to know that we don't always have the destination, and life is not always a straight line. We can walk forward and we can walk backwards, or we can just go around. We may encounter roadblocks, but each step, whether we go forward or backward or going around, each step can indicate our aliveness. And each step is a practice of living here and now. So the present moment. So I love, this is a picture of a labyrinth. I love labyrinth because it really invites us to be reminded that life is never a straight line. There are ups and downs, there are pains. Sometimes we can walk fast, sometimes we can move very slowly, but nonetheless, each step can be a gift. So mindful walking, pay attention to each step. And mindful rest. Resting is so countercultural, yet if we don't rest, if we don't pause, if we don't stop and really take rest, we eventually our energy will run out. So mindful rest is just like a good night's sleep is important. And every day, mindful rest is so important and good for our souls and our spiritual life. So just in the business of life, how we take rest, how we introduce the moment of rest, maybe 10 minutes in every few hours, And one day a week, and 1 week in every few months, be very committed to that rest is being part of the mindfulness. So mindful life, and some of you know that this is one of my favorite Chinese character, is that this is the person in Chinese, and this means two. So two person together, but it means more than two, like multiple persons. And it goes all the way back again about communal life, openness, non-dualism. So we are living together in the community, and mindfulness benefits not only me, but those around us. So let us engage in another practice. So it's called Leaves on a Stream practice. So it'll take about 10 minutes or something like that. So you can look at the leaves here, or you may close your eyes, whatever is comfortable for you. I want you to be, again, relax again. You may shake your body just a few times, or if you've been sitting, you think if it's been too long, you can stand up and down, but kind of reposition yourself in a very comfortable way and allow your shoulders to drop and relax. Again, you can look at the leaves, or you can gently close your eyes. And let's take a few breaths again. So breathe in through your nose and breathe out. As you breathe, bring your full focus of attention to your breathing. Breathe in. Notice the air flowing through your nostrils, down into your lungs, and way down into your belly. And now exhale and release any tension as you let the air out slowly. Breathe in and breathe out. Now, imagine that you're sitting by the side of a gently flowing stream. This might be a stream that you know, your favorite river or favorite water place, or it might be something that you create in your mind now using your imagination. And look at the stream. There might be a light breeze blowing as you sit by the stream and look at the water. Imagine the stream however you like. It's your imagination. And now imagine that there are leaves flowing on the surface of the stream. And these leaves are gently flowing past you down the stream. For the next few minutes, see if you can take every thought that pops into your head and place that thought on one leaf. One thought per one leaf. Now your thoughts may show up in your mind in the form of words or pictures or something else. However a thought arises, simply place it on a leaf and let it go. Let it float by. Do this regardless of whether the thoughts are positive and enjoyable, like joy or your beloved person's smile or the song you like. Or whether they are negative and challenging, your hurts, your concerns, your worries, the face of the person who gives you a hard time, a very difficult project, or something that you want to forget, but you can't forget. Whether it's positive or negative, simply place each thought on a leaf and let it float down the stream. Let it go along with the water. If you notice that your thoughts stop momentarily, you can just continue to watch the stream. Sooner or later, your thoughts will start up again. Allow the stream to flow at its own rate. There's no need to try and speed it up. The aim here is not to wash the leaves away. The aim is to allow them to come and then go in their own way. Let them come to you and let them go. They have their own time and it's okay. You can just sit and watch. If your mind says something along the lines of, I can't do this, I can't think of anything, this is boring, you can place those thoughts on the leaves and let them float by. If a very difficult feeling arises, such as anxiety, fear, or impatience, simply acknowledge it. Say to yourself, here's a feeling of fear. Here's a feeling of anxiety. Here's a feeling of boredom. And then just place those words on a leaf and let them go by. From time to time, your thoughts will hook you and you will lose track of the exercise. This is normal as our attention naturally wanders, and it'll happen time and time again. As soon as you realize this has happened, simply come back to your stream and look at the water again. Continue to place each thought that pops into your mind on a leaf and watch it slip by. As this exercise comes to an end, begin to let go of your imagined stream and bring your attention back to where you are. Notice what you can hear, what you can feel, and when you're ready, you can get back to our workshop. You may open your eyes if your eyes been closed and notice what you can see. And relax. Great. So this, I hope you enjoy this exercise. This is, by the way, this exercise is from Positive Psychology website. So here are some debriefing questions. So after your meditation, reflection, what did you notice? How did you visualize your thoughts, the words, images, or something else? And if you'd like, you can put it on the chat. And how about, did you get any distractions? Was it difficult? And if you wandered away, were you able to come back to the stream? Did any negative or painful thoughts show up? Were you able to place these thoughts on the leaves and allow them to float by at their own pace? Let them go? How do you feel? So, yeah, so again, if you don't have the 7 days of mindfulness, I think we have PDF copies too from the church office. So please let us know. Here's the email to me or to Suzanne, to the church office. You can, if you request, we can send you the PDF copy. So I brought this picture as a way of visual mindfulness, and we won't actually engage in the practice, but part of mindful seeing is seeing the details. So looking at the different colors, how many different shades of color do you see here? And this bird, wow, it's beautiful looking, right? What is she looking at? What's out there beyond the picture? So we have this picture. By the way, this is what I took a few years ago in Florida. So I remember this bird very vividly. But look at the curve, find the beauty, and how the legs, the feathers, just paying attention and notice details. And here's another meditation. This is your homework. Homework is, if you have a raisin or cranberry, anything dry fruit, just take one. Not a lot of them, you can just take one. And homework is that you sit with raisin for 10 minutes, not too long, just 10 minutes. Just look at the raisin, look at the wrinkles. Again, it can be a different fruit too. Look at the details and colors. You know, there are so many different colors in raisin, right? Some are yellow, orange, dark, purple, all different colors. And look at it and feel it. Feel the texture. And then give thanks to God for those who, farmers or the store workers, those who made it possible for that raisin to get to you. Give thanks to God and taste it. Put it in your mouth for a while, just like you put candy in your mouth. So take time to feel, taste, and chew, and put that down into your belly. And give thanks again. So one raisin can be a medium for us to be in touch with ourselves and with the world. So that's your homework. I hope you can do that. So if you again have any questions, you can send it to me. And let us end with a few breathing steps. So Let us, again, I want to ask you to put one hand in your belly and one hand in your chest, and make sure your belly rises and lowers as you breathe. And breathe through your nose. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in deeply. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe